giving motivational messages.
Oh,
wow!
So it happens in
Manchester City.
So see, it happens.
The citizens.
Let me tell you, I'm sure you. I mean, you have been following football as long as I can remember.
I know.
And it happens in football.
It's a football
You can
thing.
be at your peak for a very long, and then at a point you plateau, and then you start to dip.
For those who do not know what is happening, I tell you what. If you, like you said, I follow football. In fact, I eat football virtually everything.
Yes.
If you see the Manchester City squad,
they've aged.
They've aged. So the energy to play that
high-paced game, yeah,
for 5-6 years, the legs are no more.
They are worn out.
The legs are no more there.
And so the competitions are many.
Yes, and other clubs are also strengthening their.
Yes, they are beefing up
now,
their teams, and they've
those
also.
days when you are playing Manchester City, before the referee even starts the game, you know that you have lost. But now all clubs, including Manchester United, wow. As of 85th or 84th minute, it was still 1-0 for Manchester City. Then before the referee could say Pipiri 2-1. It is well.
All shall pass. It's an error.
It's Pep Guardiola. He's never faced a situation like that in his career before. But of course, this weekend has been a very not too good for us. Like you mentioned, Accra had to folk. And you know what is painful about that one?
What?
The last kick of the game. It was the last kick of the game.
It was an acrobatic, I'm told, by the keeper, right?
No, the defender.
The defender.
Or says he didn't want to. I blame the stadium announcer for this goal. Tell me why. Just about few minutes to end the game, then he has announced that Kevin Osesibe is the man of the match. Let me show Keche Netifaso. People know so. Interestingly, go no buy out of the goal scorer.
Jesus.
Immediately the goal came, then the stadium announcement. Now the goal scorer, the player of the match now goes to the goal scorer.
Oh dear.
So we lost. They didn't even pass the ball. That was what. And I had Arsenal too. We started at the Emirates and played 0-0. Not even an offside goal to jubilate. Not even an outside goal.
Bro.
Oh, Charlie. It is now one man Chelsea the Blues. Now they are in our ears. Now you see IB is so happy. When you say, oh, leave us, you are not title contender. We know in their heart.
They wish they were there.
It is well. We'll come back.
It is stronger. Indeed well.
Yes.
Let's talk about Lil Wayne, right? We'll start with the interesting one.
Yes, Lil Wayne. Kojon Kansa. That's his real name. But you and I'm sure that when you're asking people to tell you about Lil Wayne's real name, a lot of people will struggle. His real name is Kojon Kansa.
Kojon Kansa, yes.
A.K.A. Lil Wayne. So there's a case that Martha Ankoma, an actress,
yes,
has filed at the High Court in relation
to
defamation comment, a comment that she deemed to be defamatory.
Yes.
About some comment that Lil Wayne made against her in fact, she sued Lil Wayne seeking some 5 million defamation and some February 14. That day is a Valentine's Day. And people they choose to sue somebody on Valentine's Day. That's what Martin Command did. Sue Lil Wayne. And for 3 or 4 occasions when the case initially came up in court, Lil Wayne never showed up in court. Up to a point where the court said, look, we will hear the matter. There was somebody who showed up and they said, the person said they could settle the matter along the line. But the posture and the feedback that they had shows that Lil Wayne was not ready to cope. But when the case was about to proceed on its merits, he showed up. He entered the appearance together with his lawyers. So the court urged on them. They activated the out-of-court settlement. And one of the conditions is that, in fact, Martha Ankoma is seeking an apology, retraction, before the general damages by way of the compensation that she's seeking. So the court said, go settle the matter, come with the terms of settlement. All parties signed, with the court will adopt it as a consent judgment. On Friday, they were in court, interestingly. for almost nearly 3 hours. They were locked up in the judge's chambers. It was not heard in open court. They were trashing out issues. At the point, the judge left them, came to sit in open court, deal with other cases, and went back before they were able to. And then the whole thing was that a case has been adjourned to February 25th. And on February 25th, the parties are coming for them to announce to the court the terms of settlement which we have adopted. Now, guess what? Before Friday's sitting, the last court sitting in November, one of the first things that they agreed is for Lewin to apologize, to issue a public apology, which he did. However, the information is that Martha and Kuma deemed that apology as not satisfactory because it lacks the elements of proper apology and retraction. She didn't see the remorse in that particular apology that Lewin came out with. And for those who will be wondering what kind of apology that Lewin gave or came out with, let's just take a listen to what Lewin said by way of that apology, which Martha and Kuma is rejecting.
Out of four, Ghana for the fans, Wizzy Empire fans, or John Cancer fans, create Mans the National School out of four in a Yaku Poncho Bia every day. When you say, said the Christian Caribbean to Caribbean and that Yasamana. Ghana said the year and coming on. So on my I didn't come in and I'm not connected. Sabi, from New York, Mestre, lawyer, Akanina, and now any boo nimpen for Sabi, Monbum, Abdo, money, maybe nearby. Mata, I have Panas or a mossy bar. I'm tell a fact. Tam Panasam and I'm sure issue by sunset. Mention a buffering a bed. I'm kind of say. The fans say supporting me since day one. Abraham started moving. ABC and then. The sense out of phoning in so many number assembly and become na young couple of the moon. Name factual package. And see a young nearby matter and come at us. The son said, Monitia and Chibia. And I mean, said it. Nia made Yaba matter and come. Akasaka said, be a said, and pay ye. I. If you brother should fight a down, a shimukana, a man green, and only a seven, and the material set platform is as official one TikTok 2.2 million, 2.5 million followers. And the same say, Monkam, na Minyaba, and come on fact the money and check. Mr. Almost say, and pay ye, or your bar, them ma, Mina could do no edging in the same year. Kind of fruity Timatam rocket to me, Timatamana, Timidina. I said it, Bema Kuma and so bar. Minabano when Timmy sunset, a harm, a ya issue. The soon seen and so, Nay Yawdi, Namijina, Samri, and Embraya, and Abush, and then Penfua, Bilomacho beginning, and Azak, and Boswine, good joining, and name Yam Seawood, New Adugasi, United, Alaji, Salam Yakum. And then me a lawyer can say about Kosuakama, Madame Atamaki. And then Jim say, out of four, Monkam, na Empem nearby, Mata, and come at you. Seven sermon, me know beer, Sebi. Mrs. I said, Miss Ram is didn't comfort him. Money to a million bidder, did a first time. And we should say, a being CD. You should be sound so. I'm your papa, I come in and do up home. Say, I am a come on, 7 years, man. Come on, see, Tim Samuel, uncle, and man, not no person can go a Christian. Say the Christian in a Sabi, kiss of war, who be familiar. If I'm a pum, I did. Tim sounds in front of my pum, and a young son papum, and one papum, and Franchin, Namadon, Mr. the PCB. California, Mr. Now, we'll say thank you for. In your bar, I will be a sporting yasu and shall say for now. and support me about Matanka Mama. Now, on follow Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, because I love her. She's she's my favorite actress. The Panasa, I'm telling you, the Kenya I'm soon. The castle I will say, the Panasa since day one. Tell you man when I'm born in December 78. And I said in the name maybe 7, if I be a kind, a coffee in a buy. Ever say, Miss on family born in Chennai. I saw a course. That's what I mean. Only also come now, young penny about matter, too much of money. The software within the name of pretty, a melody, messages of say, so also, and can be now, young penny about matter, too much of money. Brandia, a son, a year, a career on mine, Africa, while playing in assuming GTP, I even pen B, a cooperative, I see Copriga Massimo, some companies, messing I say, we're in their favorite actress, some of them come. Now I'm for chopper and my about matter. I mean, I really love her too much. But I hope say it be a conchair. Men in the bay come about what kind of watch it. One training, seeing a Cuba can come. I'm after issuing a company via the next session, a movie and all thing. Matankama and versus the one. Yakupo Shan, name for one or two. I can't be my Yakupo Shan. I feel remember.
So that was the apology of Lil Wayne.
Yes.
And he was talking about, one of the things when I first saw that apology was the part where he says that, he
loves.
No, not the love bits. He when he was out there saying all those, I'm just paraphrasing. Martha is a lady, so she couldn't handle what he said,
and then he went
and so she took it to heart, and that he should have factored that in. I'm like,
No,
that is not an apology.
Yes, therefore, but we leave this to our
Because
listeners. Those who are listening, yes.
What he said, went to.
In your view, what do you think it is?
What he said.
Yeah,
then,
what
of course, it was defamation or this apology.
This apology. I mean, this apology.
Oh, this apology.
If it was coming to you, would you accept it?
Oh no,
You
it
wouldn't
didn't
accept
have.
it.
I agree with them when they say
He said he didn't show any remorse and
so
all that.
ideally, what he should have done was, on this day, I uttered such words and things which have gone on to, cause harm to the person of this individual. I retract. I had no basis for those claims, and what do they even say? Unconditionally apologize.
I'm sure he should hire you as a counsel in this very case, so that you can easily. This is what will be a
the thing is that a lot of us, we don't know how to apologize.
That is the
we
point.
Say,
that is the point.
If you feel offended, I'm sorry. That negates it.
Yes.
If you apologize and you say, I am sorry. I'm sorry for the words I uttered. I'm sorry for my actions. Don't say, if what I said hurts you, then I'm sorry.
So back to square one. It's the same thing.
You have done nothing.
So a lot of, especially so when at the time that you were making those comments, you feel you were certain, you were so right to say that.
Yeah.
I'm sure when situations like this come, you should know. But of course, the matter is before the court. And for our listeners, those who are listening, you have listened to that apology from Lil Wayne. Listen to it. Does it qualify for you? Will you buy it? If it was you, are you taking that? But Martha and Kuma is saying that this one, for me, it doesn't look like a proper apology and a retraction. So
somebody has
watch
to be
this
taught
space.
a lesson.
Listen to monitor. Continue to monitor this space. Definitely, most likely, there should be another apology from Lil Wayne, which that one will be acceptable to all the parties. And of course, on the 25th of February, that will be next year. Next year in 2025, which one looks longer? When I say next year and I say February 2025.
Oh, I think when you mention the date is fine because
it's fine. I said
the
next year.
Yeah.
Even a day before next year, it's still next year. It still looks very long.
I mean, you can be talking on the 31st and say
next year. Absolutely. So even some few hours to go, say next year.
Nothing spoil.
So 25th of February, Lil Wayne and Martha and Kuma will come to court, and this time they are coming to announce the terms of settlement. That is, if they have agreed on all the terms that both parties want to agree on, and they will sign, put before the court, which the court will accept as or will adopt as a consent judgment. So that is it with Martha Ankuma and Lewin. So that case is still in court, and a lot of interesting updates are coming out.
Now let's talk about the Snit case. This is very interesting, especially with what the court had to say about the state's star witness.
Excuse me. When you are in court, Nadede, it is not all the time that you hear things like that. For a court to take a certain view, to use a certain description or words to describe somebody, then it means the court. So that is why in so many of the cases, the court will say, I want to observe the demeanor of the accused, the witnesses who will come to court to be able to take a decision. We are talking about the Snit OBS matter. And the Snit OBS matter is a case that what the state has charged Ernest Thompson, the former Director General of Snit, John Hagan Mensah, a former IT manager at Snit, Juliet Hassana Kramer, CEO of Perfect Business Solutions Systems, Caleb Kweku Afaglu, he was a former head of Management Information System, MES, at Snit, and Peter Highboy, a lawyer. Peter Highboy is a general manager counsel for Snit. These 5 individuals or personalities were charged. 29 counts. Prosecution caught 10 witnesses, including the current general manager, Management Information System at Snit, Mr. Kojo Gajekpo, Godson Kojo Lajekpo, to testify. After the conclusion of prosecution's case, the court presided over by Justice Henry Anthony Kofi made a determination on the submission of no case, because the lawyers of the accused person said that, look, we have listened to all the 10 witnesses who came to court, and we think that no sufficient evidence or case had been made for the accused persons to open their defense. On the 3rd of December, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, a justice of the Supreme Court sitting as an additional High Court judge, made a determination on the submission of no case. And the effect of the submission of no case is that if you look at the 29 counts that the accused persons were facing, Ernest Thompson and 3 others were on 22 of them. And then Mr. Afaglu is on the remaining 7. Now, this is the decision of the court. 20 of the counts, the accused persons have been acquitted and discharged. And one person who had to walk free is Madame Juliet Hassana Kramer, the CEO of Perfect Business System. And guess what the court said? The court said the charge of defrauding by false pretense, which was a charge for Madame Kramer, was bizarre. That was the language of the court. Because having listened to all the processes that came, which formed the basis of the charges, it shouldn't have even come to court at all, because the first prosecution witness, who happens to be Godson Kojo Lajekpo, was part of the committee that took all the decision, that considered all the ins and outs.
And even the variation.
Absolutely. And the whole process often made room for changes. He was part of it. He never said anything. He concurred whatever was. And then when the accused persons were charged, he came to court to come and testify, in which the court described him as this self-righteous and holier-than-thou attitude cannot be accepted by the court. And the court went ahead to say that if you portray a certain character of this nature, then you are a very dangerous and treacherous character. I am not saying this. This is contained in the 81-page ruling of Justice Henry Anthony Kofi.
The court accused him of lying under oath. Now that is dangerous. That is equally a punishable offense.
Absolutely. So perjury. It depends on whether the lawyers would want take up that.
Whether the lawyers of the defense would want to take it.
Will have interest and decide that we want to, because for a court to find that a witness And in fact, in this case, it's a star witness. At one point in time, when you sit through this case, during the testimony, you see the accused persons murmuring, making comments. Sometimes, to the extent that sometimes they even laugh at the witness when he's responding to certain questions. He say, so at some point, he's out here, hey. Then this one will be looking at the other person's face, and the other person will also be looking at her.
But what does this also say to the job of the state?
So
your star
one,
witness.
Absolutely. So that one, the job or the business of the court at this particular point in time is not to examine the evidence, the prosecution in its totality, except when the accused persons also have the opportunity to tell their side of the story. So this one is one-sided. So for a court to find at this part of the case that a state witness portrayed star witness of course, the court described him as a star for in a view of the court.
It's PW1.
It's a star witness, and for him to be saying this, the court felt that no, you were part of all these things, but when the accused person were, you turn out your back for them, and so the court described him as a very dangerous and a treacherous character. What that will mean to the other leg of the case, we live to see. At the end, they were acquitted and discharged on 20 of the counts. And for Madame Juliet Hassana Kramer, the CEO of Perfect Business System, he is a free man. The court said no sufficient evidence has been adduced by the prosecution for her to stand trial, or for her to be hauled before the court. And so she has been acquitted and discharged in the charge that the court described as bizarre. So on the 19th of this month, December, Mr. Ernest Thompson and the others will be back in court for the other leg of the charges that the court held that prosecution was able to prove, for them to start to mount defense in relation to that. So that is what we should expect in relation to this SNATE OBS matter. But for Hassana Kramer, the court has acquitted and discharged her.
Okay, now let's talk about the elections. And there have been some election disputes. The NDC, as we do know, has secured an injunction to halt the processes at the Tesano Police Training School. What more can you tell us in relation to that?
So, Nande, remember that I spoke to you on Friday from the court about this very case that was initiated or was filed by the NDC, particularly the parliamentary candidate for Sum Adredri, the NDC parliamentary candidate. So I don't know why I keep mentioning
Insawam Adredri, yes.
Insawam Adredri. Amenope Philibert Fumi. He sued Frank Arnold Dompré as the first defendant and the Electoral Commission as the second defendant in the matter. And his point was simple. The manner the outcome of the election is being handled by the EC officials, the court needs to intervene. And if the court needs to intervene, by way of the rate that he issued on Friday, let me tell you what he's claiming. 1, a declaration that by reasons of the absence, incomplete and or questionable nature of the pink sheet for that in Sawam Adrejiri constituency, the integrity of the parliamentary elections for that constituency is undermined. 2, a declaration that the Electoral Commission cannot, based on the incomplete and or questionable collation forms, whose source is doubtful, declare a winner of the parliamentary elections conducted on the 7th of December 2024 for the Nsawam Adrejiri constituency. And now look at, these are the orders that he's seeking, 2 of them. An order directed at the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission is the body that organized the election, to organize a fresh parliamentary election for the Nsawam Adrejiri constituency. And then an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Electoral Commission, their assigned agents, previous servants, employees, workmen, and any other person acting on their behalf from collating and declaring the parliamentary election results for the Nsawam constituency. This is simple, his story. And his narration was that throughout the election processes, up to the time that the election ended, when they started the coalition, at the point in time, Frank and Odompre, the NPP, the only person who was present was the organizer. The NDC had their papers, everything. EC also had their. But when, at the point in time, they were informed that, you wait. By next morning, the result that you think that the NDC felt that they were winning, for which reason they were out on the field jubilating, it will change. The EC at the point said they did not. They lost some of their pink sheets. By the next morning, the EC resurfaced that they have those pink sheets. These are the things that he thinks that compromise the election, undermine the election, and for that reason, the High Court should intervene in order for a fresh election. So this is the first of the disputed cases that have come to the court.
Okay.
I don't think that will be the last anyway, but in the coming days,
we'll probably see more.
Yes.
Now, let's wrap up with what we are going to expect today. What is happening today in court?
What was the last time that you bought a plane, a train? I'm not saying.
Oh, we are talking about the Tema in Pakadan.
I also remember about that.
The Tema in Pakadan train accident. I mean, Ghanaians were getting ready to enjoy this new train, only for somebody to go and park Kanaboboya on the track and then affect our train in the process. It has delayed our enjoyment of the train. So that case will be heard today?
Yeah, so you remember that when the incident happened, the driver of the truck was arrested.
Yes.
Put before a circuit court in Eastern region. He pleaded guilty simpliciter. How you say simpliciter? It means that he admitted the offense on its face value. He was convicted and sentenced to 6 months. I'm sure that the 6 months is almost expiring, so he should be ready to be coming back to celebrate Christmas and all that. But 4 other accomplices were arrested in relation to that, and they are before the High Court. The case initially was being handled by Justice Lydia Osema, but she has been elevated to the Court of Appeal. So she's dealing with the cases that have been virtually mostly done.
Okay.
But the fresh cases have been taken out by the new judge, Justice Kizito Nakoa Kwashi, who will be handling that. So today it is coming up with the 4 accused persons back in court. So these and some other cases that will come up in the court is what we should look out for. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadidi. You have a great day.
For joining us with Legal Check. Okay, I was thinking of going for a break, but no. Would just go for a spot of music, and then we will be right back. It's still the Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM.